for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening, Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. Today's Tuesday, January 16th. 16 days into the new year, just 349 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? Big night tonight on the show because our guest is Freeman. He dropped the fly. He's just Freeman now. And we're going to talk about those hidden Illuminati messages in your life. We're also going to talk about some cloning and transhumanism. Yeah, that's our conversation tonight with Freeman. Tomorrow night, L.A. Marzulli is here for the first hour, and we're going to talk about the DNA results from the elongated skulls from Peru. They have a press conference on February 2nd about this here in Los Angeles. The second hour tomorrow night is Rick Shaw, and we're going to talk about the near-death experience, NDEs, tomorrow night. Thursday is another Fader night, and the No More Fake Newsroom with John Rappaport, followed by Open Lines. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's simple, at JChurchRadio. You can go now, follow, like, and subscribe over on the website. All those little buttons are right there to do just that. And if you want to hang out with us in the sandbox on Twitter, use hashtag F2B. Okay? And that's it. Let's set up this show. Any questions or comments during our broadcast tonight? All you have to use is hashtag F2BQ, Fade to Black questions. All right, breaking news. Let's get to this right now. We had to pull down our UFO video right before showtime tonight. It turned out to be an IFO, an identified flying object, or two of them, or maybe even three. It was the Grace satellite, or Grace satellites. Right after we posted the video, I had shown things to Race Hobbs before we posted, and he agreed, this is pretty compelling stuff, and immediately Race is on the case, right? So he figured things out. He found a website that was posted on the screen briefly in the NASA screen grab, and went over and found out that it was the Grace satellite. Now, a couple of things about the video. First off, there was a third object in the video as well. The two Grace satellites, they're calling it the Grace satellite, but they run in tandem, two of them together, very close. They don't look like satellites. That's the other thing. They look pretty trippy. But anyway, as those two objects were coming into view, there was a third object that shot out from behind it in the video, which made things even more compelling, and I pointed that out in the video today. But it's the Grace satellite. So For us, our integrity here is paramount. Others may have let the video continue and go viral, but here at Fade to Black, we just can't do that. The video was real, though, and that's the thing. When you're looking at a real video and an object that just doesn't fit what it should be, which is a satellite, with solar panels and all of that stuff and telemetry, it didn't exist on this. So, yeah. Although it was real, it turned out to just be real interesting. So it goes. So the video was pulled down. And like I said, others would have just let that thing go viral and got video counts and clicks and caused a stir. What I did find interesting was the post because we pulled it down at 2,000 views, and it did 2,000 views in about 5 minutes. And maybe 10, I don't know what the rundown was. But the comments were flying all over the place, and everybody was just as amazed as we were. But, and I looked at countless satellite images in the last 24 hours trying to figure out if it was a satellite. I just didn't see the Grace images. They weren't anywhere to be found. Otherwise, it would have been a different story. But now looking back at this in hindsight, that third object there was what I found very, very, very intriguing. But, and I'm going to take another look at it. I'm going to look at the video, and I'm going to enlarge that and slow it down and take a look at that third object and I'll get some opinions out there. But as it stands right now, it was the Grace satellite, and we had to pull the video down. Okay, that's it. Integrity first here. We are not concerned with clicks or popularity. It's about finding the answers to this great world of ours. I'll say this. I got a couple of phone calls immediately after the video was posted, and one was from Steve Murillo. Steve, fighter pilot, Naval Academy graduate, and, pilot for the Marines. And his first thing was, what is going on here? But the curious thing is Steve also worked for TRW in satellites, and he didn't think it was a satellite. When I called him back and said we pulled the video down, he was like, why? And I told him, and he said, man, I'm not so sure. Well, as it stands right now, it was the Grace satellite, but it was quite intriguing for all of us there for a minute. Okay, but it's pulled down, and we move on. Our next event will be the Conscious Life Expo. It's coming up February 9th through the 12th, 2018 at the LAX Hilton. I will be hosting panels and emceeing all weekend. Come and hang out with us. It's going to be great. Tickets and info over at our website. Click on the banner right there for Conscious Life Expo and head over and get it. The tickets are very inexpensive for the Conscious Life Expo, by the way. I think they're like, my memories, it's like $25, right? So there you go. I think $25 a day, maybe. Very, very inexpensive. So consciouslifeexpo.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, where we have over 785, going to be 790 as of tomorrow. Custom apps, Apple, Android, all platforms, just $2 a month. All right. You can also become a Fade or Not at our membership section on the site. And you can get, if you wish, you can get commercial-free downloadable archives, commercial-free, very cool. And you can get T-shirts, autographed hats, all that stuff. Just head over to the website and become a member today. And don't forget about all of our sponsors: Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, New Pharma, Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, New Mana Food Storage, and Bearing Optics. All right, change your life and go and support our sponsors. Ronnie McMullen of Life Change Tea is going to be here in a couple of minutes, and we're going to chat with him about all of the new things going on over at Life Change Tea and, of course, Ancient Life Oils. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Director John Carpenter is 70 years old. The original The Thing, remember that? Well, it was the remake of the original, but now I still think it's kind of like the original, the 70s, right? The Thing, Kurt Russell, amazing movie. Big Trouble in Little China, Halloween, Escape from New York, and Starman. Today, John Carpenter is 70 years old. Also today, Sade. Is it Sade? Sade is 59 years old, smooth operator. I remember when she was all the rage in the 80s, and I never figured out how to say her name. I would always hear Sade, like there was an R in there. So I started saying that, and I heard it, Sade. I don't know, but I do know this. Today, she's 59, and the song was Smooth Operator. Happy birthday. On this day in history, OTD, 1991. The Persian Gulf War begins live on television. I was producing a band back then from Hollywood. Some of you who were here would remember Hans Naughty. And I had Hans Naughty in the studio. And that week, we had CNN on live 24 hours a day during those recording sessions. I don't know how we got through it. We could not stop. I would get a mix done. I would, make a pass, and we'd all gather around the TV and then go back, work a little more, go back to the TV, and watch that. That was pretty insane. But it happened on this day in 1991. Fader fact. In 2010, now listen to this. This is pretty crazy. I do facts on this show every night. We vet them. But this one stopped me in my tracks. Because in 2010, a group of 15 monkeys escaped a research institute in Japan by using trees to catapult themselves over a 17-foot-high electric fence. And that is a fader fact. All right, tonight, very special guest Freeman is here, and we're going to talk about all of those hidden Illuminati messages in your life, corporate logos and symbology. We're going to do that, and we're going to talk some cloning and transhumanism. Tomorrow night on the show, L.A. Marzulli. We have two guests tomorrow night. First hour, L.A. Marzulli. We're going to talk about the DNA results that are in from the elongated skulls from Peru. They've got a press conference going down here in Los Angeles on February 2nd. So we're going to preempt that a little bit and get L.A. Marzulli in here to talk about it. And, I've got to get what information I can out of him tomorrow night about these skulls and their DNA results. And then after that, tomorrow night, Rick Shaw's here. And Rick is the director and producer of the Watchers series, starring L.A. Marzulli. And Rick does a lot of different things. And one of his ongoing projects right now is some of the hidden and secret tunnels underneath Jerusalem. So that's an ongoing project. But another thing that he's been working on is documenting the near-death experience. He's a great editor, director, great camera guy. And this project of his is very, very interesting. And I want to find out what he has found out. And we're going to do that tomorrow night in the second half of the show. And then Thursday is another Fader night and the No More Fake Newsroom with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom live. Okay, so tonight Freeman is here. And I'm going to open up the phone lines, one bank of phone lines a little bit later in the show. And that will be 323-825-5045. And I'm waiting for Ronnie McMullen. Where is Ronnie? I don't get it. Ronnie, let me do this. I'm going to back this up and go backwards. Let's do this. I'm just going to call Ronnie. He was supposed, normally Ronnie is here waiting for me. And tonight, he wasn't waiting, and I don't understand what's going on with that. And now back to really quick the video last night when I had talked about Ryan's video that he had shot up at ECETI and how compelling that was, and getting that up on the net so quickly was very important to us. And he shot that on his... Ronnie, you there?
I am.
Why are you late?
Did you miss me?
I did. I mean,
Did you miss me?
You were supposed to be here, and you're not. And I'm like looking out.
I wanted to see if you'd call me, and he did. See, everybody, he calls people that he loves.
See, but the thing is, I feel like I was looking out my front door for my lost puppy to come home. That was the feeling, forlorn, melancholy vibe that I was feeling. So there you go. Ronnie, my man, how you doing? I'm
doing good.
What's the news on the health front these days?
Man, there's so much going on. People have got flus and colds, and they're sick.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible. They're struggling.
Not me,
but no. Tell them why.
Well, I do. First off, it's Life Change Tea, but I do part of the thing that because I take so many different supplements each day from Life Change Tea. But the two that I take that I think are critical for that would be Coral C and Allison. Those I do every single day. I keep, here's Coral C right here. And then Allison is on my nightstand back at the house. So I take that the second I wake up. And then when I get to the studio, it's Coral C. And then, of course, I go through my run of drops, pine bark and moringa and olive leaf.
You're pretty faithful about that stuff. I remember, what was it, years ago, you weren't taking too much of anything, and now look at you. You're a rock star.
I was taking vitamins, multivitamins, and I wasn't consistent with it. I just wasn't consistent, and I think that with multivitamins, Ronnie, which are fine, and for a lot of people they're great and they're convenient, but I wasn't feeling different. Does that make any sense? I wasn't feeling. No,
it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes the multivitamins, they have multi things, and when they do, they put a little bit of everything. So it's kind of like going to get an In-N-Out burger, and you get a little bite of In-N-Out burger, one French fry, and a sip of a shake. Is it really worth going?
Right. Well, see, for people that have really bad diets and then and they're lazy, that could be part of the problem. Is taking a multivitamin he
said it, people. He said it. Right. Not me. He said it.
But the other part of that is, and look, the people that are on that program know exactly what I just said. They went, yeah, church is right. Yeah, I'm lazy. Right? I don't eat right.
No, it's true.
Yeah, it's
it's true.
It's a Band-Aid.
I think you're the only eloquent speaker that can tell people they're lazy and they'll go, yeah, he's right.
Yeah. And so
that's how much they love you, man. But you are the man. You are the kahuna.
But this is what I have noticed about Life Change Tea. I got the normal once a year cold, right? Or maybe every 2 years, and then it would be like really bad. I haven't gotten a cold, a cold since I've started Life Change Tea. Haven't even. Everybody around me has, people, they have the colds. There's all this talk about flu right now around the country. I'm not even worried about it.
Well, and what's funny is they say this is one of the worst years for colds and flus. And I thought, obviously I don't have it. You don't have it. And I thought to myself, hey, Allison, I love you, I mean, maybe that needs to be like a marketing thing. Allison, I love you.
Yeah, right.
Kind of like it's a girl or something.
Well, when was the last time you got a cold?
I have to be truthful. I had one about 2 months ago, and that's because I went on a road trip and I forgot my Allison. And literally within, I think it was about 24 to 48 hours, I had the start of a cold. And so then I finally got home and took my Allison, and it cleared right up. But still, it was trying to get me. But other than that, I haven't had one in probably 3 years because I've been taking this product.
Somebody just posted, Mark says, the best thing you ever said, Jimmy, was that you liked the smell. And there is a taste and a smell to your products that I have gotten addicted to. And I'm okay with admitting it. There is a certain thing that I enjoyed about my childhood. the Flintstones multivitamins and that taste and that smell. And with the moringa and the pine bark and the olive leaf, they have a taste. There's a taste, there's a flavor there, and it's good. Can I take too much of this? Can I take too much moringa?
That's an awesome question. That is an awesome question. I went after like pharmaceuticals. You can take certain things, you can die, you can have heart attacks, you can have a problem, blah, blah, blah. So I thought, well, you know what? Nobody's ever done a study on supplements. If you took too much, what if we took a bottle of moringa? What would happen?
Right.
So I looked it up. Guess how many deaths?
Probably none.
One.
Too much moringa?
No, it was some guy taking and actually they couldn't really even pin it on the supplement. The guy was taking a natural supplement that was equal to like Viagra, but it turned out he was a cocaine user. So they weren't sure. They thought maybe it was a cocaine issue. Right.
Man, this pine bark. I just did a triple dose of moringa and pine bark as you were talking. What a taste. You're going to be rocking. Man, tonight. I would almost have like pine bark pie. man, just so good. And and so if you stay up on top of this, and now that I'm okay with what I take every day, and I've got it lined up in front of me. I posted pictures yesterday of the bunker, and you can see all of the tinctures, right, all the eyedroppers right here in the studio, and I'm not playing around about this, but now that I've got my regimen set up, the fact that it tastes like it does, I want to go and do it. And I know that my immune system is built up, the vitamin C, I am solid, and then coupled with the super strength tea, I'm good to go. Yep. I mean, I'm rinsing my body out, and I'm taking the supplements, and I've never felt better at any point in my life.
And let's not forget, for those stomach problem people, the colostrum. Mm-hmm. And oh, you know what? We haven't talked for a while. So for you guys out there doing the colostrum thing, you like the vanilla, you like the chocolate. Rock and roll, baby. Here it is. The mocha is in. And let me tell you, it's like having a Starby drink, except you feel good and it will help your tummy. So it is awesome. And I went to incredible lengths to make sure the taste was the top notch. So we have mocha colostrum, and for those of you that go, hey, I want the tea, I want the Allison, I want the mocha, yeah, we have the big three, the still special, and you can get the big three with mocha. Yay!
Yeah, so that's on the specials page right now.
Yeah, special page, you can get it. There's one in the front, but if it's not mocha, pick the mocha one because it's there. Mocha, you get mocha, tea, and Allison for a discount. So that's the way to go. That's the big boys.
Yeah, so you get Allison, you get the colostrum, and you get the tea all in one. That's a really, really, really good starter package for anybody.
Oh, that's a rocker because you're dealing with detox, you're dealing with immunities, and you're dealing with no sickness. And by the way, for those of you who have blood pressure issues, you need to get the big three because it will really help you. It'll really help you.
Now, before I say goodnight to you and thank you again, Ronnie, for all that you do, you're going to be at the Conscious Life Expo in, man, I can't even believe it, about 3 weeks.
I know. It's like I remember when that was months away and all of a sudden it's like, here it comes.
Now, are you going to surprise the Fadernauts? Are you going to look like you sound?
How do I sound?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
Well, I'm asking you. How do I sound?
I don't know. Hey, see this. I picture Ronnie. Ronnie and I talk constantly, but we've never met in person. So we're going to get that out of the way. Finally, we've tried to hang out over the last year constantly. We've tried to pull that off, and we just couldn't.
You're a celebrity, and I'm not.
Oh no, you're the celebrity. You're always out there doing your thing.
You're the celebrity, and I'm not. So our bonding time has been trifled.
I'm picturing you 6 foot, 160 pounds.
Oh, you're kind. I'm 6 foot, but the 160's not there.
Okay.
I used to be 260 until I got on my goods.
Okay.
So now I'm running around 200.
Oh, so you're in shape. Okay.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I still got a little bit of punch, but I'm working on that, But when I lost the weight from the tea, and that was my start, I lost 25 pounds. Then all of a sudden you kind of feel like exercise and you feel like changing your diet because you got a big head start. And then I just, over time, this, that, and the other, changing this diet, what you do, your regimen. 200. Actually, I got down at one point to about 185, which is lightweight for me.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You just couldn't hang. You couldn't
hang, man. I need to have a little bit of meat on me. So yeah. So 200. I sit around the 200 mark. So not too bad.
Now, you always call me and ask me my opinions about these breaking UFO stories. I haven't had a chance to talk to you. What did you think about Tom DeLonge and his disclosure back in December, and the way it hit the media and CNN and Fox and went out around the world and went viral like it did? What, take me through that. What did you think? I
don't know. I always have mixed emotions. I have both. Is this the real deal? Is this really a powerful thing, or is this another deal? So I always have mixed emotions, and I don't stay right on top of it because I used to do that all the time, and I tip my hat to you.
Well, I'm just wondering what's in front of us, for 2018, because that was a pretty big jump. To have the government come in and say that they've got a secret UFO program that's running in the Pentagon and releasing these, the F-18 Hornets videos, pretty compelling stuff. And then it was everything else that went along with that. And we've never had that out of Washington. It's never happened before. But
I think we're at a point right now, and I don't know, maybe I'm talking out the side of my mouth, but I think we have something very big coming. I don't know what that even means, but something very big, whether it's a UFO disclosure, whether, they're going to do the fake, rapture, right. There's so many different, Project Bluebeam, whatever. There's so many different directions that can go. But I feel something brewing, and I think it will be UFO related because it's going to be paranormal, because then it'll be off the charts, and I think they were thinking this back in the days of Reagan, but they weren't ready. Something wasn't ready. So I think they're more ready now, and it will obviously be about population control and fear and everything else, just like they, we pushed the button and sorry about that for Hawaii. Sorry you thought a missile was coming. And then, of course, Japan. So, I think they're brewing. They and them are very busy with their chaos.
What is more impressive than our sponsor, Life Change Tea, and Ronnie McMullen dropping Bluebeam? See, fate or not, do you see how in touch Ronnie is? Ronnie, you are a fate or not. Just thank you for everything that you do, my friend. And the promo code is FADER, right? FADER, yep. And everybody will get free shipping.
Yeah, and you're going to get a little priority action if you get the big 3, so you want to go for that.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. Behave and be well, and we'll see you in 3 short weeks right here in Southern California. Thank you, my man.
Thank you, brother. Love you, man.
Right back at you. That's Ronnie McMullen from Life Change Tea. All you got to do is use the promo code FADER. It's really that simple. Promo code FADER, and you're going to get free shipping on your order. And that special is there, the big 3, which is super strength tea. You got to have that. You got to have the Allison. And you've got to get your colostrum starter pack. You've got to go and do that right now over at lifechangetea.com. All right. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight is Freeman. Yes, Freeman is here. I'll be right back on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Stay with me.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Natural Health Solutions with Chris and Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Great, Chris.
Now, you're the CEO of GetTheTea.com, right?
Yes, I am.
What is GetTheTea.com? I mean, is this tea you buy in a store?
Well, no, it's not. Life Change Tea is just that. Life-changing. Life Change Tea is an herbal tea that gently cleanses your body from intruders.
What do you mean by intruders?
Well, intruders are toxins, chemicals, GMOs, heavy metals, and more. They're in our food, in our water, in our air we breathe.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
And Life Change Tea will help you with removing these, as you say, intruders?
That's right, Chris.
Are there side effects with this tea?
Well, you might lose a little weight. When you clean your colon, you lose weight, you feel better, and you have more energy.
Wow. Ronnie, where can people purchase Life Change Tea?
Oh, that's easy. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
Ronnie, I want to thank you for being on the show. People, don't forget, GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet. Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at KGRAradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. KGRAradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight is Freeman. And this segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by Rivermoon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Yeah, it's dark and smoky. Just use the promo code F2BBLEND, and you're going to get 15% off of your order. Click on the banner for Rivermoon Coffee over at jimmychurchradio.com. It is truly the best coffee in the world. And every time I even mention it, I got to drink some, like right now. I need this Rivermoon to get me through Freeman tonight, because he is the reason we now have that Belluminati video, right? That commercial. He created the concepts of Illuminati logos and high-profile rituals in the media. He has been at the forefront of conspiracy theory for 2 decades. He's an award-winning TV producer, radio talk show host, and lecturer. He's an expert in the fields of the occult, trauma-based mind control, Illuminati symbolism, and ancient civilizations. You can definitely watch his presentation, Aliens from Hell, which is, right now, it's banned from YouTube. All you have to do is go to freemantv.com and you can check it out. freemantv.com/aliens from hell. It's right there. We'll put up the links here in a bit. Freeman has appeared on Howard Stern Show. He's appeared on an HBO documentary, the Discovery Channel. He even has a film with Dan Fogler and Anne Hathaway. Freeman graduated with honors in interdisciplinary studies and attended Kansas University, specializing in ancient architecture. And he still has the time to, create music with that band of his, Molecular. Tonight we're going to discuss all of that current symbology and messages in advertising and the media, all of it. And we're going to discuss a little cloning, transhumanism, and social engineering for good measure, just to make sure that we get all of our Freeman fix on tonight. I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, Freeman. Freeman, good evening, my man.
Oh, fantastic to be here, Jimmy.
It's good to hear your voice, and it has been a little bit too long. But this is what I want to do, Freeman. Actually, I kind of want to start out here before we get into what's going on with Taco Bell. And after watching that commercial, I had to go to Taco Bell yesterday, by the way. I just couldn't help myself. But before we get into all of that, I want to talk about you for a second. You chose to, and you didn't have to, but you went full nomad. Right? You went full nomad. You went across this country with a backpack, sometimes on your feet, sometimes riding in a car, sometimes on a bicycle. And you went and looked at things for yourself instead of reading about it in the books. Why did you choose to do that?
Well, I've always been just kind of a wild child, I guess. I mean, I remember at like 7 years old wandering off miles and miles with a little bag over my shoulder with a drumstick, a chicken drumstick in it, So it's always been kind of my nature to be this nomad. And the moment that I graduated college, I just had to go. I mean, I just left. And it was an amazing thing because I had no idea where I was going. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no money, and everything just kept leading me to the next thing. The very first thing I did, Jimmy, now this is crazy. I left Florida and I ended up in Washington, D.C., and I was part of the original Occupy in Bill Clinton's White House. I was sleeping with a ton of other hippies, rainbow is what I should call them, but people don't know what that is. Feeding the homeless and living in Bill Clinton's White House lawn, given permission by the Secret Service to feed the homeless and to live there for 9 days. We occupied the White House, and the White House got surrounded in sewage while we were all there. It was, mystical.
What was some of the sewage, Freeman?
Oh, it was insane, Jimmy. Because here had gathered a tribe of nations that were basically just showing our force in front of the White House. We had taken over the entire park in front of the White House, and like I say, the Secret Service had given us permission to be there. They came and gave us a secret code word to give the police if they were going to hassle us. And we had a mystical tribe sitting there. And we were sitting there one day, and all this newspaper came flying across the way. And it was like this newspaper was alive. It was running across the lawn. And the hippies are all running around trying to pick it up and catch it. It all stopped and then attacked us. It turned around and came back, and everybody's getting covered in paper. It was the weirdest thing. And it flew off and went around a corner, and every single piece of paper was gone. And this Rastafari sitting next to me, and he says, Mother Nature knows, man. She's right here protecting us. And I walked up to McDonald's to see if I could get them to give me a free burger. Way back when, I used to eat that kind of stuff. As I'm coming back down, there's this brown goo coming uphill at me. So I had the forethought to jump the street and go to the other side of the street, but some people didn't. Well, it ends up that the sewage main had exploded under the White House during this mystical event, and the entire White House was surrounded in fecal matter for days.
Oh, dude, you were surrounded with Bill and Hillary poop?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good story. You know what? I can't top that. I can't top that story. I don't have anything. That
was my first story, right? Yeah, like that was the first day out.
Right. Well, Well, and then how long did that journey last? Going
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And as you look back, because your documentaries on this are really, really good. I have watched them all. You know that.
Yes.
But what's the one takeaway? You know, you've got to have one takeaway. What did you get from it?
Well, you know, I just went back and watched the Corporate Logos film because it's probably been a decade since I've seen my own work.
Right.
And I'm sitting there somewhat flabbergasted at the situation, because when I made that first television show, The Freeman Perspective, there was no Google Images. There was no World Wide Web as we know it today. And as I'm watching it, I'm realizing, wow, I went and took all those pictures, but they're actually photographs. I'm having to film the photographs for my for my television show. Mm-hmm. And actually went to each of the places, went to the Supreme Council of the 33rd while I was at that DC event, and went through, got all the knowledge in there. And the real takeaway was that life will present itself to you, and that you don't have to be in control of every faction of your life. And you're probably better off not being in control, because I had no idea of what was going to happen to me next every moment of the day. And every moment of the day, that moment was fulfilled. And this just took me from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. That for the 10 years, I just kept going. You know, I didn't have a job. I didn't have money. I wasn't begging. Everything was perfect. I did things millionaires do, you know, daily. I was summering in the Hamptons, wintering in Vail, you know,
right. Anything
I wanted to do. And so it opened up the door of synchronicity to me. I didn't have that word. The Celestine Prophecies hadn't been written yet. You know, it came out in 96. I started in 93. Mm-hmm. It was when the Celestine Prophecies by James Redfield came out and explained synchronicity in terms that I understood, that I was trying to tell people that's what I was doing. Because otherwise I would just tell them, I don't know, everything just worked out so perfectly.
Well, and the end of things, which was not the end of things, the beginning of the end of things, I should say, was in Austin, Texas. But that story is pretty incredible. So I actually want you to share. I don't even know if you've shared all of the details on the air. I do want to get to that. But before we do, the idea of the symbology of the Freemasons and their architecture across this country, before your journey, did you even know who the Freemasons were?
Well, that's what started this whole thing. I was in interdisciplinary studies at Valencia College. And this is an honors program that covers all of your required courses. It's 2.5 years long. And it's basically Nietzsche meets Limits to Growth. I mean, it was the Club of Rome dream. They were giving us all kinds of Club of Rome stuff. It was like something that just opened me to all these new ideas and new thoughts and collaborations. And within that class, we were all honor students. And there was a guy there that was a genius. And I call him Alistair Morrison because he was basically a cross between Crowley and Jim Morrison, this guy. Long hair, just crazy, but the smartest person out of anyone. And he introduced us to the topic of the esoteric. And I remember asking him, well, what is esoteric? And we were all honor students looking at him like, what is this you're talking about? And he's like, well, it means you don't know what it means. And we all just laughed and we're like, what? And then he opened up some books and he had this full magician's library, which I now own because he ended up traveling with me for the first time in the van. He was also on that trip to DC and everything. He was with me on the first excursion and he brought his entire magician's library with him, which I think actually ended up killing the van. But I started looking through these works and I saw the Mason logos. I saw the compass and square, and I saw some of the symbols of the Masons in there with the apron and whatnot. And I was like, wait a minute, man. I know this stuff. My dad's got this stuff in his top drawer. And he's like, well, your dad's a Freemason. And I'm like, no, he's not. No way. No, not my dad. No. And sure enough, I went and asked my dad. Now, realize I'm 25 years old. I went to college very late. And I at 25, I'm like, Dad, are you a Freemason? And boom, the doors open. He had never mentioned this, never even alluded to it, nothing. And all of a sudden he's telling me, yeah, I like the Blue Lodge better than the Scottish Rite because all that gobbledygook they got to deal with. I prefer just the 3 rituals. And I'm like, what rituals? What's, and then he breaks out into, well, I was in Project Blue Book and I was chasing UFOs for the government working with Hynek. And I'm like, wait, what? So
Really?
You're telling me flying saucers are real? And he's like, yes, flying saucers are real. And that's the only thing I ever got out of him. Me and my dad didn't get along much. But that's how I found out my dad was a Mason. And that's what opened me to want to know what these rituals were and what was going on inside those lodges.
And you didn't have any idea that your dad thought about UFOs or secret societies or conspiracies and all of that. You had no clue?
I used to wear my dad's Masonic cufflinks as my Battlestar Galactica insignia in the 70s.
Wow. And
when I was Apollo.
Now, what does that tell you about the ability to keep a lifestyle secret?
Yes, without a doubt. I had no idea. My mom was Eastern Star. I didn't know that.
Really?
She was Esther in the Eastern Star. And all of a sudden, all these things come up, and it took me learning about it first before anyone even thought to tell me about it.
Now, you said that you and your father, didn't really get along. Is he still around?
No. Now, that was also a very strange tale because I had started the TV show in 2004 and I had developed the concept for the Freeman perspective. And as I got going, I was like, well, you know what? I need to interview my dad. Right. So I scheduled an interview with him in Florida. And I was scheduled to fly to Florida and meet with him. And he knew what was going down. He knew what I was trying to accomplish. And my flight got canceled. Some reason I didn't go on that flight and had to reorganize my flight. Well, the day I would have shown up, that day, my dad did not wake up.
Wow.
And no one expected my father to pass. No one saw this coming at all. And he died on the day I was supposed to interview him. And it was really bizarre.
Okay. But before he passed away, what did he think about what you were starting to do and this new career path?
Oh, I remember trying to teach him about HARP and things. And he's like, I don't want to read all this gobbledygook. And you guys are blowing this all out of proportion. For him, it was more of a gig to get good jobs. Like he built nukes for Martin Marietta. He was in Blue Book and he was in Secret. You pretty much have to be in the order in order to get these type of top level clearances. So that's what he was for. Now, the thing of it was, my mother was married to the Grand Poobah, as she puts it, of Freemasonry in Berlin. And he was super uber rich. My mom run around in, limousines and all of that. And this Mason raised my dad to worshipful master, raised him to the master degree, and then made him into worshipful master. And my dad took my mom from this dude. And he was like an old man. And they had an agreement. They said, yeah, all right, fine. You can have my wife, I guess. But within the Freemasonic order, you cannot marry another worshipful master's wife and remain within the order. So my dad actually left Freemasonry to be with my mom, which was amazing. But I think he always regretted it.
So your mom, is she still around?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
no.
okay. She's
I
no
was
longer-
going to say yes, but it was just 4 years ago that she passed.
Okay, fair enough. But what did you guys talk about as, Freeman TV exploded and your career took off? What was her take?
Well, Freeman TV never made a cent. So the only reason I stayed on the television for as many years as I did, 5 years, I think, was because my mom was paying half my rent and keeping me afloat and doing the things, because it costs money to be on access television. And if it weren't for my mom, this television show would have never happened. She supported me 100%. She thought it was all crazy, but she loved the fact that I was doing it.
Yeah, moms have a way of doing that. Certainly, my mom's paid my rent a few times. So,
yeah. My mom rescued me more times than I can count, not just even financially, but in many, many ways.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that if my dad ever hears this show, he's going to turn to her and go, what was that? And
true enough.
yeah, exactly. So, and then Austin, Texas happens. Now, how did you end up in Austin? And I want you to tell the middle part of the story, but get to the end first. You from when you arrived in Austin, how long was it before you left?
Oh, man, I thought I was there for the weekend.
Right.
I was there for ACL, Austin City Limits. And I didn't think I was going to be. I had just completed Kansas University or quit and came down for ACL. So I was just there for the weekend. But on the way, I met this strange old man on a city bus. And he had this gray, greasy hair and one white eye. He was kind of scary looking, but he was so friendly. And he plopped down to me next to the bus and he says, you are so interesting. Can I do your numerology? I'm not one to shy away. So I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So He's like, you're the goddess. You're the goddess. And that was pretty weird, too, because I ended up unveiling Columbia in this whole thing. But then we learned that he was living in his van a couple of blocks from where I was living in my van on Christmas Light Street in Austin.
So you're both living in your vehicles.
Yes, but he was a permanent resident, right? Like I was one that was actually just on tour. But he left a note on my van saying, you got to go to the mall and listen to this lecture. And he gave me all the bus routes. And so I'm like, so I actually give the Zoe Award because Zoe was his name. And he changed my life forever with that little note on my van without knowing it. Because I went to that lecture and it was George Green talking about the Palladians or Plejarians visiting Billy Meyer. And he had all the pictures of their flying saucers. He was showing us how the anti-gravitic technologies worked, magnetic therapies and all of this, and then started showing images of the Pleiadians themselves.
Right.
Now, as a child, I've always felt connected to Pleiades. I didn't know it was Pleiades, but that little cluster of stars, the Seven Sisters, entranced me from all my life. So when I started in the 90s reading Barbara Clow and Marciniak, I thought I was a Palladian. I'm like, if anybody's Palladian, it's me. And I'm certainly an alien on this planet. I'm a system buster full through and through, right?
Right.
So I totally vibed with that whole thing. At the lecture, and people get this wrong, it wasn't like I was trying to deceive anyone, but I started to play Palladian, because these guys all believed in it, and here where they were, and I was the long-haired looking freak alien in the group. So I started talking to them as if I was from another planet. But the things that I was telling them were very true. My understanding of the signs and the symbols, the things within military and all of that. And I started laying out all my conspiracy theories. And this was during a break in the lecture. And every once in a while I'd slip up and say, well, Earthlings, or things like that to make them think that I forgot that I was from another planet, Anyway, and all of a sudden, this really tall guy, like 7 feet tall, he comes at me, tall, blonde. I mean, if anybody was like an Aryan alien, this guy, right? He comes at me like just stomping like, whoa, boom, boom. And he says, you need a TV show. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, would you do it? And I'm like, I don't know. What's going on here? And he's like, look, we have this Austin Access. It turns out this was George Humphrey, city council member who founded Access Television in Austin. And I had no idea. But he's like, I will write you a check right now for $180 if you will go to Austin Access, pay for the lessons, and start a television show. Will you do it?
Well, wait a minute. $180 to you at that point. How much money did you have in your pocket?
Nothing.
So $180, you sold your soul. Right? I would have.
Well, I didn't consider it my money. I went and handed it straight to the Austin Access. I sat there and I stood there in front of him for a minute and was like, do I want to do this? Am I going to put my face on television and out myself as a conspiracy theorist when I'm so bit nervous about the government? Am I really going to do this? I gave it legitimate thought for about 5 minutes before I answered. And I looked at him and I said, let's do it.
So the $180 paid for the lessons?
Yeah, it costs money to do Access Television.
Right.
Yeah, you got to take courses, you got to rent things, you got to do stuff.
Yeah, I get that. So you were still broke is where I'm going.
Oh yeah. No, I was broke for 10 years.
Right.
I mean, and that's part of the story, though. I want people to realize when I say this that I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I had an epic life. I want you to realize how much you can do with nothing. Because Freeman TV has been running for all these years for nothing. I mean, I don't make money.
No, we're 2 minutes from a break. At this point, it's Austin. It's conspiracy talk. Where was Alex Jones at this point?
I hadn't heard of Alex Jones at this point. And when I did, I heard of him, and then I heard him on the radio, and I'm like, oh, man, I got to meet this guy. So he gives an address on there, and I went looking for it. It doesn't exist. So I'm like, how am I ever going to meet this guy? So first day, I go into the studio. There he is. He's got the show right before mine. And I walk up to him, and I'm like, you're Alex Jones. And he's like, yes, I am. And I said, so I heard you're the only other person who predicted 9/11 to the day. And he's like, well, not to the day. And so I was like, ha, ha, ha. And I was like, that owl isn't Molech, right? And he's like, well, yeah, it's out there now. What am I going to do? And that was my first meeting of Alex Jones.
Yeah,
and so I had to be on an equal playing ground.
So at this point, he was just doing local stuff in Austin, right?
Yeah, it was just Austin Access. There was no YouTube. There was no Google video yet. None of that existed yet.
So are you saying that you and Alex sat in the same chair?
It was warm with his butt
really?
As soon as I was getting ready to sit down.
Yeah, well, because they only have so many studios in Austin Access, right?
There's only two, yeah.
Yeah, there's two. So you guys are sharing the same studio. You're in the show after his. He gets up, walks out. You go in. 3 minutes later, you're on the air.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it was a nightmare, Jimmy. I tell you, I was my own technician,
right.
And the controls are behind a wall. And so I would bring in random people and tell them which buttons to push and hope that they did it while I was locked in front of the camera, yelling at them behind a wall. I couldn't see them. I'm just talking to the camera. So that's a lot of the fun of the Freeman perspective is the craziness that I had to go through to actually make the show.
Well, it's like that in every market except for like the top 30 in the United States. But you jump down in the markets. And if you're doing the news in Wichita, you're the cameraman, you're the director, you're the writer, you're the producer. You're in the studio by yourself. I guarantee it, man. And that's for ABC. Forget about Austin Access. Let's take a break right here. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Freeman. That's right. He's dropped the fly. When we come back, we're going to continue this because the Austin part of the story is amazing. And then we've got to jump into the Illuminati symbolism and what is going on in your life. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Well, yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight is Freeman. And this segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by New Pharma. GNU Pharma. Click on their banner right now at jimmychurchradio.com. Go to their site, and you can read all about the science behind New Pharma. Natural solutions to health and wellness. Their foundation, which is something that I take every single day. Right here in the studio, look, I've got relief. I take that. Relax. I take that. And of course, I start off my day with foundation. All of it tastes amazing. I do the drops and just use the promo code F2B, F the number 2 and B, and you're going to get 33% off of your order. Hey, Freeman, you mentioned health earlier. And you also mentioned McDonald's, right? So you learned your lesson. How healthy are you today? Do you supplement down like I do? I mean, I am just the supplement king now.
I don't. And I was thinking about that when I was listening to you in the first hour. I was like, I can't remember the last time I got sick.
And is it because, why? Is it your diet?
I think it's my diet. I cook. I'm a very good cook. And so I prepare very good food. And I think that has a lot to do with it.
That has everything to do with it. Yeah, that's a foundation right there. And if you shop right, that's the other thing. I'm not that concerned about being a carnivore because I'm a severe carnivore. I mean, the bigger the bones, the better, right? And that's me. But it's how you select what you're going to cook, right? It is so important. If you cook with the very freshest and bestest things that you can find, that is the healthiest way to go.
And I've learned to ask my body. I go through the store and I say, do you want that? And it tells me.
You know, there's something else that, yeah, especially when you're hungry. Always shop when you're hungry. But I did one other thing. We got to get on to the Illuminati. But speaking about symbolism, the power of sodas, right? The addiction to it and the logos, the way that it's presented, the packaging, all of this is designed to consume. And I did a very powerful thing. In our garage right now over at the house, and I'm not making this up. I'll take pictures tonight if anybody doubts me. I have cases of soda that are 3 years old. I just stopped one day. The whole fructose chemical thing about soda freaked me out, and it just messed with my head. And I took one last sip of Dr. Pepper, which I love, but and I tasted the chemicals in it. I literally tasted the chemicals. I backed off, and I haven't touched it since. I do drink sodas with pure cane sugar in it, though, right? Natural sodas. But as far as the corporate culture and the corn syrup, fructose, chemically based sodas, I don't drink those anymore.
I actually drink Master Cleanse all day.
Master Cleanse, I've heard of that. What is it?
It's really just lemonade with maple syrup and molasses.
Oh, I hear that's the way to go. Now,
I love it. I drink it all day, every day.
Now, would you drink it if it wasn't healthy? Does it taste that good?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard it's really, really good. Okay, so what's in it again? It's
just good maple syrup, molasses, and lemon juice with water.
Isn't molasses and maple syrup the same thing? I guess it isn't.
No.
Okay, so molasses, maple syrup. Rita, write this down. Okay, so what's the recipe?
Well, I usually, to my pitcher, I add about 1 tablespoon of molasses and about 3 to 4 tablespoons of syrup with a lemon or 2 if they're small.
Right.
And that works. I mean, the other thing that you should add is cayenne pepper, but because I drink it as a drink, I don't want to put that cayenne in there.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that Master Cleanse is the way to go. I'm sure that Twitter right now is on fire. Yeah, man, Master Cleanse. That's what I do, man. Master Cleanse. When was the last time you had a McDonald's burger?
Oh, we went to Rainbow. Now, Rainbow is a collective of people that are kind of standing against them taking the national forests away from us, and 30,000 people gather in the forest every 4th of July. And I personally hope everybody will join us this year at the Rainbow. You won't know where it's at until the 4th of July or the end of June. But I was at this Rainbow gathering, and there you're pretty much vegan. And for a month you live. I tend to stay there for a month. Most people stay for a week.
Now, isn't this
it's
where
like Survivor?
Everybody's buck naked wearing body paint?
That does happen, but we're not talking Burning Man here.
Right.
You got Jewish camps, you got Christian camps, you got fairy camps where you might see more of that naked running around. You've got every walk of life is out there. So I did try nudity once there just to see if I liked it. I do not.
Right.
But after the gathering, my friends were so excited to get to McDonald's. And I'm like, you're crazy. You're going to be so sick. But after you have to hike 5 miles to get there and 5 miles back out with all your gear. And they took me to McDonald's. So I was stuck with nothing to eat but that. So I took 3 bites of, like a quarter pounder or something and was feeling very sick while the guy next to me ate 7 quarter pounders. right there before I could finish 3 bites of mine. He had 7 of those things down. I'm not making this up.
I believe it.
And I'm like, you guys are going to be so sick. Well, we all got sick. I mean, even just me on my 3 bites. So I can't touch that stuff. It goes right through me.
We were up at ECETI last year, and so we did like 3 days. We're there for, I think we were there for like 5 days. We were scheduled. And like on the morning of day 3 in the afternoon, and we're eating healthy, and it's all good. No alcohol, no nothing. Just, this, very pure run of good food and everything. And it's all good. Everything's fine. And I get around to like 2.5 days, and I'm sitting there with there's about a half dozen of us, or maybe a little more, but I just looked around and I said, man, does anybody want a bowl of ice cream right now? And I was just, dude, sugar, right, was on my mind. And everybody, yes. I said, let's go. So we all jumped in the car. It was like, no, 2 cars. We took 2 cars, 8 people. We ran into town, found the local market there, walked in and loaded up on candy and ice cream. And I went, and the lady, it was just funny. Anyway, we piled everything up, paid for it, got back to ECETI, went and sat down at our little pit and gorged. And I mean, it was a very, very sad moment on how sugar has a fix on your brain. It really does. And if life without sugar is good for you, I'm just going to say that sucks. Life without sugar is not worth living, man. It's just not. It's just not. I'm talking about sugar. Pure sugar. No, you need to have it. Okay, so back to...
I had a Bigfoot experience at ECETI, you know that?
I know. I did not know about that.
Yeah, we took our school bus there in 2012, and I didn't get to see the Bigfoot, but I certainly heard it, and it freaked us out. And, I mean, it should have been right outside the door by the sound of the footsteps, and I wasn't allowed to open the door because everybody was freaking out. But we heard the, thud, 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 thud right past the door. And I'm trying to open the door. The dog's freaking out. Jamie's freaking out. Everybody's, freaking out. And I'm just like, well, let me look. And they're like, don't open the door. And I'm like, no, I got to look. And I finally opened the door and there was nothing. But I'll tell you something shook that place and walked right past. And of course, you ask many people there at ECETI and they've had Bigfoot experience.
Yeah, it went down when we were there too as well. We had a little bit of everything. We had fairies, we had orbs, we had UFOs. Yeah, we had Bigfoot. Yeah, it was a little bit of everything. I've told the stories many, many times. Freeman, but since you've been to ECETI, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That is a magical place.
Incredible. I don't even know what I was seeing. And the funny thing is that at one point when the orb came by, they were like, okay, we're going to turn on this infrared light and attract an orb. And so I had on the night vision goggles. And I'm looking out at the infrared light, and of course, I'm the only one that can see the beam, and I'm seeing dust particles in it and thinking, oh, well, that must be what they're talking about. But no, this orb comes down over the mountain, over the trees, goes right over the beam, and takes off, and I'm just like, oh my God, did you guys see that? Did you see that? And I realized I'm the only one wearing night vision goggles, so I was the only one who saw it. But yeah, I don't know what that was. It was crazy.
Same thing happened to me. But it was the opposite, okay? So at the far end of the field, when I mean the opposite, I didn't have night vision on, and the second thing was everybody else saw it. So at the far end of the field, right, far end of the field where the trees are, this orb, it's like midnight or 11 o'clock at night, something like that, and this gray orb, flat, too. It's two-dimensional. It's not a sphere. It's flat, and it comes over the trees, like you're saying, up in the air, and then comes down, and it's like 50 feet in diameter. I don't know, because the field is, a quarter mile across, maybe more. And it's at the end of the field, and it's big, like if you held up a nickel in your fingers, right, and held it out in front of you. That's how big this orb was at the end of the field. And I'm watching it, and I thought I had something in my eyes. Right? So I kind of rubbed my eyes a little bit, and I'm thinking, wow, that's kind of trippy, and it's still there. And right as I'm wondering what I'm seeing, this lady back of me goes, "Is anybody watching that gray orb out there in the field?" I said, and I spun around, Freeman. I go, "You mean this bleep is real?" And I turned back around, and everybody to my left, there's a whole row of people, I don't know, 50, 75 people. They're all talking about the gray orb out there. And that was like my introduction. That was night number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ECETI's no joke. We're doing a big we're having a Fade to Black conference out there next August. And I think our tickets, I'm going to ask Rita right now. Rita, post up in Twitter, if you would, when we're going to be ready to announce this. I think it's any day now we're going to announce the dates and have the tickets up for sale. But
I might have to make it to that.
You're more than welcome. And the thing is I left ECETI. No, I went to ECETI pretty skeptical on some fronts. Okay, certainly there were no fairies in my life before ECETI, right? Or even the word. Orbs was something I saw in photographs, and I heard people talk about. I never saw one. UFOs, yes, but the whole Bigfoot thing was something else, and interdimensionality and that kind of magic and meditation. I was foreign to all of it and a bit skeptical. And then you go to ECETI and you experience all of this firsthand. All of it. It's right there for the asking. And you leave ECETI and you're a changed person. That ECETI's the place where you take a skeptic. That's where you take Michael Shermer. Right, that's who goes to ECETI. You take the editor of the publisher of Skeptics magazine.
I mean, it was like an extraterrestrial highway. There were craft making right turns, and and the funnest part was when you're back at camp, and all you could hear off in the field is "oh,
right,
all night long." Yep. Everybody,
yeah, and what a welcoming thing. Of course you're seeing stuff. That's really cool, but that's not the best part, Freeman. The best part is what you just said. People are experiencing it together. So they have witnesses and they're able to talk about it and yell and the next day. It's so funny. You walk around after a night out there and you see all these people gathered in, paired up talking. And I know what they're saying to each other. "Hey, man, so last night I was walking in the field and this blue fairy came up." And you know what? And so, really tell me about it. And those are the conversations that are happening, and you're not doubting anybody's experience. You can't, because you just had your own up there. And it's a phenomenal place, man. It is just absolutely incredible. I just often wonder what the neighbors think as well. So,
yeah.
And that
whole Gilliland crew are amazing people. Every single one of them, I love them all.
Yep. Not only are they great, but they even the animals, right? I'm over there. I'm feeding the baby goats. It's just incredible. But you're right. The staff there is just fantastic, and the facility itself, all of ECETI, is spot on. You're not wanting anything. You're thinking to yourself, man, it's a ranch. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's an Indian reservation, and there's no town. There's nothing to do. It is a 24-hour action fest. There is so much, and you're attended to, and the people are great. So yeah, you're right. You're right. And James, that's the other thing. You bring up a really good point. James is always doing something. Right? He's chopping down trees. He's on his motorcycle. He's digging ditches. He's building tents. He's up in the morning. He's the last one in bed at night. And it's always go, go, go there. The energy is just absolutely phenomenal. It's just crazy energy.
Without a doubt.
Now, I wanted to get back. We started to talk about sodas and drinks and symbolism. When did you no, there had to have been a tipping point. What was the logo that you first saw that put it all together for you and the dominoes fell?
Yeah, that's why I was reviewing the show, because I'm like, what was it that really clued me in? Because it was kind of an all-encompassing thing, as really it was shell and Texaco, the pentagram and the shell, because I was deep into the goddess studies, and having Zoe keep saying you're the goddess was really bizarre. So there in Austin, Texas, as I got deeper into Masonic ritual and understanding, and I know their rituals through and through. I know all their passwords, passcripts, secrets, and everything. I got all the books. I've studied them. I can decode their secret books and rituals and all of that. So I know their rituals through and through. Then you learn the symbolic meanings inside of those, where the pentagram comes in, where the cube comes in, and the shell. And so it was the gas stations first, because they had like the double cube of chevron, which is the altar of a Mason, which is magician's altar. You have the pentagram, the shell, and right there in Austin, Texas, as I'm trying to decipher all of this, it's all displayed right in front of my face. 1933, they have a statue of the goddess Columbia there as a World War II memorial. It's got fishmen, merfolk, riding their fish horses, pulling Columbia forward. And on one side of her is the pentagram, and the other side is the shell. And these are both symbols of Venus. And if you start to realize that Venus, if you look it up in the dictionary, is Lucifer, then you start to see the Illuminati, illumination, and the clues that go into who is Columbia. And so it was really the shell and the pentagram that opened, and then each and every one, just all of a sudden, it all fit. And to be sure, I would test each and every corporate logo. So my science had to fit everything, or it didn't work, right? And so as I went through each and every single one, they all fit within Masonic ritual. So I was like, okay, these are signs of allegiance for Masons that know their code, and they can see a Starbucks logo and go, oh, that's a Masonic company. So I determined this as signs of allegiance, not as some magic spell or anything of that nature, but just, just like a secret handshake, they put up these logos and symbols so that you know which corporations are based on Freemasonry.
Is it, there's got to be a reason for it. Is it the ability to keep a secret? Is it because of the business connections and money? Is it because they can build a good wall? I mean, what's the reason for that? And you hear it over and over again. Look at the Apollo astronauts or politicians and leaders, and this Freemason centralized foundation kind of freaks me out. What's the reason for it?
Well, they are the secret societies behind the foundation of nations. And so these mystery schools have come up, Masons even track it all the way back to Atlantis or the Eleusinian mysteries. You go back to Greece, you go back to these societies that were trying to improve nations. And of course, America is the Freemasonic Great Experiment. So anyone that demonizes Freemasonry doesn't realize that they're also demonizing the creation of America. You can't say, well, I'm a proud American, and say Masons are demons, and you can't say with both things at the same time. You got to have one or the other, because they founded this nation, and they founded it on the principles inside of Freemasonry. So most of the Masons join to be in this boys club so that they can get the good place, the good jobs, and they get the placement. You've got to be a Mason to go into space. I haven't met a single person that hasn't gone through the rites and rituals that went to space, or not that I've met them, but I haven't researched a single astronaut that wasn't a Mason, even the women, because they are allowed on rare occasions, but or Eastern Star, of course, for the women. But so it's a clique, they get inside the lodge, they all do their rituals together, they get bonded, and then they share each other's businesses, and those are the ones that rise to the top. I could have told you Starbucks was going to be the king of coffee because their Masonic logo is Columbia. It's a... So I think I answered your question.
Well, no, you did. And so what you're saying is Kenny G is a Freemason. I knew it.
Probably.
Kenny G is a Freemason.
Probably.
So now I want to go back to this before we hit the break. We've got 5 minutes. Bill Cooper said many times that he was a demolay, right? And that he got to his top secret clearance because he checked on the application for his clearance that he was a Freemason because he was on the children's side of it, never became a Freemason, but he thought that counted, and he didn't want to lie on his application, right? So he did the check mark anyway, and he says that any top secret clearance in the United States is going to be with somebody that is a Freemason. Do you find that to be true?
Without a doubt. And I want to clear something up here, too. Walt Disney was never a Freemason, not by any findings that I can find. And I'm the guy who actually goes to the temple, tries to find the picture. I can show you the Masonic picture of every corporate head that I have identified their corporate logo. So I have both sides of the puzzle, right? I'm not just saying it and not just, I got to go find out for myself. And they are proud of their brethren. So if Walt Disney had been a Freemason, absolutely, he would have been represented in one of these lodges, and he is not, although he was one of the original Knights de Malay. So in that way, maybe he was brought into the clique, but his brother, Roy Disney, was a Mason, and so there he had another connection in there. So there's a lot of people just throwing things out there, and because they see Masonic logos in Walt Disney Company, which is true. If you ride the roller coaster that's a train, the Matterhorn,
right?
But they have Hiram Abiff's working tools in the theme park, which is Hiram Abiff is the person you pretend to be when you're in the Masonic ritual. So as you're coming down the roller coaster ride, you'll see Hiram Abiff's tools. We actually covered this in our magazine Weird Stuff, where you can actually see the picture. And so, Walt Disney Company absolutely is Freemasonic, but Walt Disney himself never was. But without a doubt, you have to rise in the military. If you want to get past your E9 or E8, as I've been told, you have to swear to the Brotherhood. But now they're not allowed to recruit. They have this phrase, to be one, ask one, because you must go of the order of your own free will and accord. And that's kind of a spiritual barrier that they've always got to go through, which is something that we see as they use predictive programming on us, because they have to get our free will agreement to certain situations in the same way that you've got to go of your own free will and accord. That's the first thing you say when you knock on the door at a Mason temple.
Is that right? So you ask, it's like being a vampire, right?
Yes.
So that is really interesting. So there is no actual recruiting. It's not like...
it's frowned upon.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think of who knocks on your door all the time? The
Mormons.
Yeah. Why did we go?
Oh, if you ever want to get rid of a Mormon, just start asking them how they fold their aprons during the ritual.
Okay,
because they're like, oh, we can't talk about that, and I'm like, well, can you show me the key grip of your second degree? And we can't talk about it because the Mormons are Masonry, revamped.
Let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight, Freeman. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Oh, Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. And last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight is Freeman. This segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by Numana. Emergency food storage for you and your family. 25-year shelf life, MSG and GMO-free, and made right here in the United States of America. And every order over $100, you will get an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Just use the promo code Jimmy when you click on the Numana banner over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. All right, now, Freeman, bold claims made by me at the introduction of this show saying that you are the reason that we have the Belluminati commercial. What did you think when you first saw it? I still can't believe that they are doing this campaign, but what did you think?
Well, you know, a magician always kind of wants to remain hidden. And so I should have just kind of sat back in glee knowing that it was my magic that produced this over the years. But I wasn't too shocked because this whole Illuminati thing is such a misnomer that why not play with it? It totally throws everybody off the scent of what's really going on and makes everybody look a bit loony, you know?
The prevalence, the amount of Illuminati symbolism in pop culture today, whether it is on somebody's T-shirt, on some rock star, rap star, in a movie, TV series, cartoon, it is certainly everywhere. Why? Is it because it looks cool, or is there something bigger going on?
Well, again, unfortunately, the name Illuminati symbolism, which I did have to adopt because of algorithms in our search engines, I would have never called my work Illuminati symbolism. Although if you go look at my video today, it is called exactly that, because it has become the common term. But it is a complete misnomer that misguides everyone and makes this a specter hunt, because it's a collective noun that really has no reality or validity to it. So people need to get deeper. We are seeing occult symbols. We are seeing magical symbols. We could take this to the Ordo Templi Orientis, which for me, they claim to be the direct descendants of the Knights Templar and the Illuminati. Most of what I see in these type of high-profile rituals are OTO ritual symbols, which is more of a black magic. So if you don't know about the Ordo Templi Orientis, then you're not really looking at this puzzle. You know, you're just talking in ether, because there is no Illuminati as by that name. So there is black magic going on, without a doubt. I was able to predict what Katy Perry would do at the Super Bowl, which should have been impossible. And I was using the understanding of the Ordo Templi Orientis and the Tarot. And she was to represent the Whore of Babylon. And so if this were going to be correct, then Katy Perry needed to come out on the Super Bowl stage riding a lion, holding the reins with a fire chalice, as is shown in Aleister Crowley's tarot deck for the Lust card. Mm-hmm. And so I went out boldly and said, this is what Katy Perry is going to do at the Super Bowl. Here's the card. Here's the symbolism. This is what it means. And sure enough, and even to the point that I threw in, well, we should see diamonds in this as well, because diamonds are a symbol in mind control of a presidential model mind control slave. And it's also an activating symbol for sleeper mind control agents. So there should be diamonds represented in this. So here comes Katy Perry on a diamond-encrusted lion in a fire dress, holding the reins. Boom, you know.
Now, didn't she also dress as a fish?
She has done many. I think she has a mermaid.
Yeah, she did something else like that in the Super Bowl. I don't remember all of it, though. I know she did I was just wondering what that would have to do with it. Let me ask you this. I called somebody, a friend of mine, in advertising about this Taco Bell campaign. And this was the response that I got, that it was ingenious, that it was a bunch of ad execs probably sitting around a table, and this idea came up for this, and they took it and ran with it because the Illuminati is cool today amongst kids, and that there's nothing else to this. There's nothing to be feared. It's just very, very smart advertising guys taking advantage of something.
I totally agree with that.
You do?
Yeah.
And okay, so the question is why? I mean, why do it? I understand the ingenious part of it, I guess, but what would the motivation be? And wouldn't there be the potential for blowback or criticism?
No, because nobody believes in it. Like in the real world, everybody thinks this is a big joke, so they get to laugh at conspiracy theorists and people talk about it. You know, they're going to talk about it around the water cooler.
Because it is cool to talk about now, just like the new FedEx commercial, which I was shocked the first time that I saw it, the conspiracy bookstore.
And now, do you know of any other conspiracy bookstore other than Brave New Books? I don't know if you know of Brave New Books in Austin, but as far as I know, it's the only one of those kind where Alex Jones, myself, Jim Mars, we've all given lectures there. And so I really felt like that one was a bit of a jab. I feel like there's been a few jabs because realize my work came out before Dan Brown, right? So it's all that old. Like it's older than the Da Vinci Code. Like, Dan Brown was a jab to me. And I kind of feel like Dan Brown took a jab at me because in the book, The Lost Symbol, which is all about Freemasonry and the Illuminati in this fiction turns out to be a single individual known as Malek or Molech. And he became an evil, sinister, psychopathic killer by watching a low-budget access television show on the occult. If you read the book, it's like Dan Brown was jabbing me. Because I swear to you, you guys, it's time-coded on the World Wide Web, but my show is much older than that. It's older than Google. It's older than YouTube. And it was the first show of its kind. This was the first investigation of its kind. That's why I say that Belluminati commercial is my fault. Because I created this idea. I took these logos and said, oh, my God, these all fit. They all fit within this program. And I started to utilize that to understand even politics. I mean, we just had the New Year's Eve. Now, there has never been a New Year's Eve like Y2K. And Y2K went around the entire globe. When's the last time you watched New Year's Eve on television and they went from nation to nation to nation as it struck that midnight? Only Y2K. And every nation went to extreme lengths to put up occult signs and symbols on Y2K. To the point that England built the Millennial Dome to counterbalance the phallic symbol of Big Ben. You need both the hermaphroditic symbols. So they went to the point of building a dome, and even the eye, the Ferris wheel as another symbol of this. And then they burnt or had fireworks burn at the speed of the sun across the Thames. And then ignited the Freemasonic phallus, which is the Eiffel Tower. And then as it came over to America, they made the sun rise in the west, which is a symbol of Horus. They made a light so bright behind the Jefferson Memorial that you could see it from Europe as if the sun was rising in the west. And then Bill Clinton stood before everybody and said, the torch is lit. Our children are ready. It is a rising sun. Now, for the Egypt part of that, they had Jean-Michel Jarre playing the 12 Dreams of the Sun at the pyramids as they transmitted the eye of Ra all over the pyramids and had Anubis characters dressed as men in black standing there holding torches in front of the Great Pyramids where they were supposed to cap it with a great capstone of gold using a helicopter. The headline today, and please, if anyone can find this, December 18th, 1999, USA Today. It stated, Muslims stopped the Freemasons from capping the Great Pyramid with gold. That was the headline. This was one of their main moments in time to mark that they now had control of all of this around the globe. And Bill Clinton came forward announcing it's a rising sun. Our children are ready. The torch is lit. It was all right there. We've never seen another New Year's celebration like Y2K because it was a massive ritual to Freemasonry and Luciferianism.
What was the name of that bookstore in Austin again?
Brave New Books.
Brave New Books, that's right. So
it doesn't exist anymore.
That was my question. Is it still there?
No, they sold it to somebody who didn't know how to take care of it.
But the commercial itself was shot at that bookstore at that location in Austin?
No, it was a parody of that bookstore.
It was a parody of that bookstore.
As far as I know, Brave New Books was the only conspiracy bookstore. It's certainly the first. but I've never seen another in all my travels.
Out here in L.A., we have, here in the Valley, we have, maybe you've been there. It's called the Psychic Eye. Have you been there?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy place. You get a little bit of everything. It's a bookstore where you can get stuff to cast spells, too.
Brave New Books was very Christian, to the point that they took chapters out of things so that they would what was that one documentary that debunked all of Christianity and then went into 9/11? And
Zeitgeist.
They removed the first chapter of Zeitgeist. If you ever bought the film there, that's how Christian they were at Brave New Books, is they did away with that.
The first
part
time
of the movie.
Check this out. This was when Zeitgeist first came out. When was that? 2007, 2008, 2007. Rita, she comes home. She goes, okay, I'm going to get this video tomorrow on DVD. And it's called Zeitgeist. And it's got everything in it. I was like, what? Yeah, but you've got to know people to get this thing. And I was like, what's going on? So finally, she comes home with the video. And we pop in the DVD. And I get through that first 10 minutes, right, which is the whole film's great. There's no question about it. But that first 10 minutes is a game changer, right? And I'm watching.
It's all fraudulent, though.
I don't care. I don't care. It's shock and awe, man. So, but I'm watching it, and this is what I'm thinking. Our DVD player is going to burn up, and before it ignites on fire, it's going to send out a secret signal to the NSA, and the SWAT teams are going to be here, right? It was like, it really hit me like that. And I just saw the groups around the world that would be offended by this. I saw the writing on the wall, and I ended up watching. And then, so Rita goes, we've got to give the DVD back tomorrow. Something like that. You got 2 days. I watched that movie round the clock for like 2 days. I just tried to absorb it all. And
now, I was so mad because I was a grassroots producer. And for that show, that documentary to get the millions and millions of views it did, for me was just not possible, because I am a legitimate grassroots filmmaker, and it just doesn't happen. I've never seen that happen. When I think back, and you mentioned the NSA, I remember talking to people about the NSA, and they're like, there's no such thing. And I was like, well, that's kind of what they call it, no such agency. Or I'd tell them about Space Command in Cheyenne Mountain, and I mean, they wear the badge on Stargate. Well, that's real, and people just weren't ready for any of that. There wasn't a World Wide Web yet for people to go look this stuff up. But Zeitgeist for me actually really was anti-Freeman. I mean, I felt like it was a jab. It was fraudulent, and it made me mad that it got so much popularity when I was out there doing the work.
Yeah, I can understand that, but this is the other point for me when it comes to Zeitgeist. I know the motivations behind making the film, so there's that part of it, and which were all Wall Street based and a fake market system. And where we are actually headed here, what the film turned into, and this huge cult following, and how that, I think all of that was an accident. But here's the good part about Zeitgeist, though, Freeman, is that it proved that people were starving for this knowledge, that they know that there is something else going on here, no matter what it may be, whether it's religion or our financial system or false flags and 9/11 and the fake economy and how the world economy is based, and we are at the tipping point of everything collapsing. And that part of it, I think, is amazing, because they were just starving for this information. And they
when I was on Google Video, I had millions, tens of millions of views when I was on Google Video. And then Google wrote us all and said, hey, we're going to fill up the internet we can't keep putting up your videos. So we're going to cut them off at this certain time, and you won't be able to put up. And when you were uploading to Google Video, it had to be the lowest res. And there wasn't all this technology to do this stuff. You had to figure this stuff out. And you had to have a TV studio, really, to do it. You didn't have home editing software. That stuff didn't exist. You had to be in a TV studio doing linear editing, you know?
Right.
So I forgot where I was going.
The success of Zeitgeist.
Right. Well, it was more to the shadow ban thing, because I had millions and millions of followers on Google Video. My videos had millions of views, and then they transferred everything over to YouTube, and I was the original shadow ban, because here I am, a guy that makes a living describing rituals in the media. And if I actually put one of those rituals, a commercial, a Katy Perry or anything, and try to explain it to you by showing it to you and discussing it, my video is banned worldwide. Has been since day one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been shadow banned for a long time. And now I'm starting to hear all these other people go, oh, man, they just shadow banned me. And I'm like, man, I've been dealing with this the whole time. I thought everybody was dealing with it, not just me. But I believe I was the original shadow ban, because I was the original show. Like, everybody, you couldn't get this knowledge from anywhere but the Freeman perspective. That didn't exist until I created it.
Well, I want the audience to understand what Freeman is saying here. We have 789 shows uploaded to YouTube. They are all monetized, except for Freeman. They will not monetize those videos. I have had manual reviews. I have requested additional reviews. I have done everything that I could. There is nothing in any of our videos that has any bad language. We've never talked about sex. We've never talked about drug use. We've never talked about gangs, which these are all the key things, right? I don't even think we talk Trump and Obama or anything like that. It doesn't matter. And those are some of the cleanest videos and shows that I've ever done. Now, controversial, sure. But just because my guest is Freeman, it is not acceptable to advertisers. And I've gotten letter after letter from them about it. It's just like they monetize Leo Zagami.
Oh my God!
Right, Leo Zagami,
Vatican rape.
Yeah, Vatican rape, Pope pedophilia. And the Illuminati, right? And everything that he went through. And he's written some extraordinary books, and he's a great guest, and it's a lot of information. But that is, I would think, would be offensive to any advertiser. Unless you're the OTO or something.
Yeah.
But they'll monetize not only Leo Zagami. There was I did a series with Jim Mars. I think I did 2. With Jim Mars, literally called The Fourth Reich. Right? That's the title of the video. The Fourth Reich. Monetized. By General Motors, Budweiser, and Verizon. Right? But if it says Freeman up there, it's a no-go, no matter what I do.
It's the truth, man. Like I say, I guess I'm the test subject because I've been doing it longer than anyone. There was never a show that was openly exploring the occult like myself. That just didn't exist. And that's what bothered me. And what bothered me about sitting next to Alex Jones is like, let's get the whole story out here, because there's way deeper story here in this than the political story. And so I made the Freeman perspective. And, every half an hour of that took me 4 months of work. it wasn't like today. I had to go and take pictures of each corporate logo. I couldn't just go grab it off of Google or anything. I had to go out. You would not believe how hard it is to find a Texaco in Texas.
Right. Yeah, and because you couldn't go and jump on Google and click on images.
No.
Right? Yeah,
No.
you actually had to go out and do the legwork. But that's also the part of your videos, especially a lot of the early stuff. It is you on location. I mean, you're really out there.
Yes. Every picture, everything that you see is deep inside of these lodges, things that I feel everybody wanted to see, things that you can't see. And, I went into the Supreme Council of the 33rd and I filmed that whole place. I went to the Philadelphia Lodge. I filmed that whole place. And so everything you see on freemantv.com, every image you see is done by me, photographed by me. Go to my Instagram. You'll see I have an incredible collection of all these different lodges and orders and things.
Have you had any Freemasons? We've got 2 minutes, and then we'll pick up on the backside. Have you had any Freemasons come at you?
Just to join.
But they can't recruit.
Right, but I have a number of Freemason friends, and Masons that meet me are very impressed with my knowledge because I'm known as the guy who knows more about Masonry than Masons.
Now, this is really funny. This just popped up here. We're going to go back to the Freemasons, but what's Freeman's take on 9/11? Well, somebody here has never heard you speak about this before. Isn't that interesting? But what about, you know what? We'll talk about that when we come back. But you haven't had, nobody in the Freemasons has come at you saying, dude, shut up. You can't come into our temples anymore. You can't video. And they've got a picture of you at the door.
My favorite tale. We were at the Philadelphia Lodge. I'll make this really short. I had this stinky hippie with me, very stinky, and we all just started plopping ourselves in the worshipful master's chair. And the moment my stinky hippie friend sat down in that big old Mason chair with its falcon heads and all of this, a man popped out of the wall. Out of a secret passage and was like, that's it. He started yelling at the guy giving us the tour and he threw us all out.
He popped out of the secret door.
Yes.
Did you know the door was there? I've got to ask.
It was a wall.
You didn't know it was there.
No, it was too much. We were digging through stuff. We found the Ark of the Covenant hidden behind those drapes, and we were pulling stuff out. The guy had lost complete control of us, and we were all just like plopping down in the worshipful master's chair. And yeah, he came popping right out of that wall, scolded the hell out of that Mason, and took us. Dan Fogler and I had a great time at the Mason Temple too. I wish I could get that film from him.
Yeah, he told me about that. Yeah, let's take a break right here, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little 9/11 because what happened with Freeman on this. I'm still not, even though we've talked about this many times, I'm almost not buying it. It's that good of a story. We'll be right back with Freeman. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Freeman. He's back. And this segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by Bearing Optics. The night vision that we both use and approve of here at Fade to Black. Every night watch that we've ever done has been with Bearing Optics. And all you have to do is give Alec Hoffman a call. He's a Fadernaut, by the way. And I just mentioned Fade to Black. It's that simple. And not only are you going to get a discount, but you're going to get a free smartphone adapter to record your very own green chrome balls. Just mention my name. So, Freeman, when was the last time you went out and saw some green chrome balls? Yeah, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. See, and the only when that happens to people, night vision, you're out and you start to see these things in the sky, which I did. And this one that I saw, I'm sorry, that's what I saw. It looked like a giant Christmas tree ornament, one of those green chrome balls. That's what it looked like. And it was reflecting, and I could see it, and it was solid, and it was pretty trippy. It was a pretty trippy, and that's it. I'm not changing the description. That's what I saw. I saw some green chrome balls, and there's night vision is a life-changing event when you do it for the first time, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Somebody just sent me this email, and you ready? It says,
absolutely.
This Freemason listens to Jimmy Church. That's the email, man. When it comes to, I want to talk about 9/11 and what you did as far as predicting that and how that went down. But Freemasons in general, when you speak to them, and you could probably go all the way up to 32nd degree, but certainly, those first, 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers, they're going to tell you that there are no secrets. Right? That's what they're going to say. And they're not exposed to anything, are they?
No, I mean, even within Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike, which is basically like the guidebook for their rituals, he says the Mason himself needs to go and decipher these signs and symbols. We're going to mislead you intentionally. So you must go and find your own understanding for these signs and symbols.
I do want to experience, I don't want to become a Freemason, but I do want to experience what goes on in the initiation. I want to see some ceremonies go down. I want to see the secret handshake.
From Hell by Alan Moore. Absolutely will give you the first degree.
But do you think the Freemasons, especially since I'm in the media, right? I'm a radio host and a TV guy. Would they let me in?
They are dying for membership. They are closing their lodges left and right.
Not a membership. I don't need that. I don't even want to think about that. But would they let me come in and check it out?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, almost every lodge will give a tour.
And they'll let me see an initiation.
No, you can't watch a ritual.
Oh, that's what I want.
The closest you're going to get is watching From Hell on, by Alan Moore.
Right. And okay, you know what? Let's just go on to 9/11 because my other question is this. One last thing about the Freemasons. Do all Freemasons wear the ring?
No.
They don't, do they?
There's many signs of allegiance. And so you could wear forget-me-not flower on your lapel, and that would be code enough for a Mason.
What about you? Sorry, I had to hit the cough button. Would you know a Mason if he didn't have his ring on? I mean, you mentioned, the flower on the lapel. What else can one look for?
Well, I've tried to get out of a couple of tickets by telling the officer that I was on the level. And that I do things by the square. Oh. And they're like, "Oh, you're on the level, are you?" Because they knew what I was saying. So there's phrases that you can throw at them. There are catechisms that you can use, questions that you can ask, like, "I see there's a spider on your shoulder. How did you get that?" And this would tell another Mason that you were a Mason, and you would respond by, "I got it while in the rubbish with the ruffians." And they would know that you're a Mason.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got to remember that one. Spider on the shoulder. I got it from being in the ruffiage.
The rubbish with the ruffians.
Oh, the rubbish with the ruffians.
Yeah,
I'm going to write that down. Actually,
yeah. Just get a book on Freemason catechisms and.
Right.
Yeah. There's some pretty crazy ones in there.
Okay, so 9/11, you how did you figure it out?
Okay, let me attach this one and bring it up to date to the Trump-Hillary debates, because that was my last lecture at Free Your Mind, and I think this is critical information.
Okay.
So let's go all the way back to Bill Clinton and his extramarital affair. When they brought Bill Clinton before the world and announced that he had inserted a cigar in his secretary, Monica Lewinsky. Okay, when do they do that, my friend? When do we disgrace our own president in front of the world? Never. So for me, that was the first key. That was the first moment I said, wait a minute, there's something deeper here. They don't disgrace a president or a leader of your nation because it's, bad for national security. So, that was the taking down of the man, as I represent it. Bill Clinton playing his saxophone on David Letterman. He was like the people's president, right? And taking him down over an extramarital affair that nobody really cared about. Every president's probably had an extramarital affair, right? So I said, okay, they're taking down the man. So the next thing that they will do is force a president into office and make it obvious. And they will then usurp the idea of elections, right? So they're taking down the system. And then I said, after they force a president into office, the next president won't be considered an American because this will take down the Constitution. So, boom, all of a sudden I hear the rumblings of this W. Now, W in Kabbalistic terms is the fallen angels. It's a symbol for what's known as Qliphoth, or demons. Fallen angels is the W, the 66, which also goes to Phillips 66 gas station, or Highway 66. This is a symbol of the fallen angels. So when I heard W being rambled around, I said, that's going to be the guy forced into office, and they're going to make it obvious. So when Jeb Bush and the whole court case and all of that went down, I said, well, yes, this was what you were supposed to think. You know, this is all the part of the plan. So I was correct. Well, during the Bill Clinton era, they were trying to establish Homeland Security. And they already had Governor Tom Ridge as head of Homeland Security, but no Homeland Security existed yet, right? So I'm watching all of this, bit paranoid on my own part. And I'm like, well, they need a major event. They need a major event to cause this to happen. They need a terrorist attack in America. So the Homeland Security bill came up every October 1st during the Bill Clinton era. And so every September, I was ready for some major terrorist attack to force this bill through. Well, it didn't happen throughout the whole Clinton era. And I was like, middle of September, this is going to happen. Because I believed in my own mind that they needed a couple of weeks of reaction time from the public before they could reintroduce this Homeland Security to the people. So then, as I was doing more and more research into black magic, I learned of the meanings of 9/11. Kenneth Grant, who is one of the outer heads of the OTO and even claims to be head of the Illuminati, he died in 2011, but he has whole chapters on 9/11 because this is a Luciferian symbol. Because 9 is the most satanic number because it always multiplies back to itself, and 11 is the magician above the tree of life. So if you go from 9 to 11, you're skipping 10, which is the unification of the 1 and the 0, the hermaphrodite or God, Kether, heaven. That's all number 10. So if you go from 9 to 11, you're skipping this, and you're skipping God. You're being a sorcerer, a magician without the nature of God within you. And then I saw HW, which means Emperor of the Fallen Angels. H is the letter of the Emperor. So when he gave his New World Order, there will be a New World Order speech, that was 9/11/1910. Or I'm sorry, 1990. So I clued in on that 9/11 number with HW. And then when I saw W be forced into office, as I had predicted, then I said, this will be the year. And I told all my friends, and I had now updated my science to say 9/11 instead of the middle of September. I said, they're going to pick this date because it's symbolic. And so at a party, I'm standing there, and I wish I'd called Coast. I wish I'd called somebody. I wish, but I didn't know I was right. I had no idea I was right. So, but I went up on a party, and I announced there's going to be a major terrorist attack on 9/11. Don't freak out. This is all for your reaction.
Now, when was this?
It was about the week before. I was trying to get, some dramatic effect.
So it was like September 4th.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, what happened on 9/11 was I was woke to a horde of people outside my door, at least a dozen of them, pounding, demanding how I knew.
Well, hold on. Yeah, I know. This is amazing. Let's back up to the party. How many people were at the party?
Oh, it was a pretty big house party. This is Kansas University,
right.
Band playing in the living room, all of that.
Right. So was there a microphone?
Yeah. A guy took over the mic. The band took a break. I went up there. I picked up the mic and just did it.
So let's cop the visual here. You're at a frat party, right?
Yeah.
You're at a college party, band playing, toga. The band takes a break. You jump up and announce to the party on the PA system that something is going to go down on September 11th in a week.
Yes.
And did you say it was terrorist?
I said those exact words. There's going to be a major terrorist attack on 9/11. Don't freak out. This is all for your reaction.
How come, now we're going to go to the morning of 9/11 and people banging on your door, but how come you weren't arrested? Did the FBI come and check you out? Did the rumors spread that somebody had, spoken about this at a party at a Kansas university?
I wish I had those dozen people to bring before you. I don't even know who they were. That's the problem. Like, anybody listening, if you were in Kansas at that time,
right,
call me.
Right.
Because some people have met people that were there, and some of the funny stories are like when my friend was at her job and her friend came in crying, "We're under attack. We're under attack," and she's like, "Freeman just says that stuff." Right. She didn't believe that 9/11 had occurred because she just thought that this girl heard it from me.
Oh, man. And
now, what was really weird to me, Jimmy, the weird part for me,
besides that it actually happened,
was on that day, and I'm the only one who knows this, those people in that dozen people already knew how to fold their bills like the Twin Towers.
Oh, really?
Now, how does that happen?
Yeah, that's pretty
They promoted that.
Right.
They put it out to the world. They projected that to make sure everybody knew that those bills folded into the Twin Towers.
There was one thing I remember where I started to question things. And, Fogler had his moments on that day, too, as well. After the buildings had fallen, after the towers had fallen, I got in my car and I went to work. And I was driving up Santa Monica Boulevard, going through Beverly Hills into Santa Monica. And I went, and that part between Doheny and Rodeo Drive, if you know this part of L.A., it's one of the richest parts of the United States, let alone Los Angeles, right? And it's Beverly Hills. And the courthouse is there on your left-hand side as you're driving west. And it was probably 10 o'clock in the morning, 10, 11, right in there, that time span. And already in front of the courthouse in Beverly Hills, they had tanks. And I think there was 2, and there were some Humvees. But I noticed, and I'm looking, I'm like, that's kind of a rapid response, right? Where did that come from? And you would have, anyway, so I was driving up, and that was in my mind. How did they know? Right? It was before all of this conspiracy stuff. I was still freaking out on death and people and terrorism and planes and how Manhattan, which I love, and my mind was there. So for it to get interrupted with that thought, how did they get the California National Guard in front of the Beverly Hills courthouse that fast? Why was there a reason to do it?
Yeah.
Right? It was pretty trippy, man. It was a pretty trippy thought.
Let me share with you what I think is very important now that it's Donald Trump versus Hillary at that time.
Well, is Trump a Freemason?
Well, more than likely, but I don't know.
Okay. Moving on.
Let me just show you this, because all the things that I pointed out leading to 9/11 and post 9/11, the birther movement, which I also predicted, and that one's on my website. So at least that one you can know for sure that I said that the next president after W will not be considered an American. The birther movement was a plan. I predicted it, therefore it was intended. Now, what happened when Donald Trump and Hillary were at their debates, What did I show? I showed that they were taking down the president for an extramarital affair to affect the human in losing faith in the president. And what did they do for the debates but bring those very rape victims to the stage during Donald Trump's debate with Hillary? It had nothing to do with it, right? And then they spent 10, 15 minutes discussing, well, they discussed 9/11, and they discussed voter fraud, which is what I said was for W, right? They spent a lot of time on that. So they spent time on the extramarital affair. They spent time on the voter fraud. And then Donald Trump came out and said, well, I was the one who got Barack to release his birth certificate. I was the one who was making this all happen. So everything that I had said from Bill Clinton forward as social engineering for the destruction of America culminated in that one moment in the debates. Well, both debates. They covered these topics. Like, they spent 10, 15 minutes on Barack Obama's birth certificate in the Hillary-Trump debate. It makes no sense. Right. But if you understand what I'm saying about the social engineering and how I've tracked it from Bill Clinton to Barack Obama, they expressed every form of social engineering that I had said again to make it all sit again, to reinstitute it.
Now, what did you think about? It's been this long since you've been on the show. Now that I think about it, you and I have spent a lot of time talking about fake news in the media and the manipulation of the mind, right? The Ministry of Truth. We've talked about that a lot on this show. But then 2017 happens, and the rest of the world is shown fake news for real. It's no longer Freeman and Church, the tinfoil hat conspiracy guys throwing, this dogma out there. We were, vindicated is the wrong word, but certainly we're no longer the crazy ones. What did you think that actually does to the collective out there, to the rest of the world? We can handle it. You can handle it. We talk about it. But for the rest of the world, this is a change of their reality.
Yeah, people will reactively assume that reality is precisely the opposite of what they are told now by voice of authority.
Right. But what does that do to them, though?
They're cast in cast adrift. They have nothing to cling to anymore. That's been the whole point all along. Destroy the person, destroy the system, destroy the Constitution, put in Donald Trump. The conspiracy's president, Now,
although I don't do politics on the show, I do the conspiracy of politics. And the funny thing for me is just like when you and I were in high school, dreaming of the day when pot would be legal, right? That these days shall come to pass, and pot will be legal. We're going to take over the world. Well, also, we really wanted recognition from the man that there is a conspiracy going on. There's a conspiracy, and conspiracy is the new normal. Well, then, lo and behold, we get Trump into the White House, who is fully engaged with, Alex Jones and Steve Bannon and conspiracy theories, and he probably not only listens to Alex Jones, but he probably listens to Coast, and he's uttering these words like deep state and voter fraud and fake news, and it all happened. Is that really a good thing for us?
I don't believe so. No. I think everybody's cast adrift, doesn't know what to cling to. They're all very lost, and that's a horrible place because then they are easily manipulated.
Is it better that we have a politician that we just can't trust in the White House, to at least push the agenda forward and leave us to our own conspiracy devices to figure out on our own?
Nations are passé. For these guys, it's global. They're ready to destroy all of that. When they were selling all the Mason temples across America, as they have been, right. It was my belief at that time when I was watching this happen that the whole goal here was to end America. So why not cash out and sell off all their temples? They blame it on lack of membership. I don't know. I think they're cashing out and moving global.
Well, and so what's your recommendation for getting the news besides, going to freemantv.com and Fade to Black? But what's your advice?
Follow me on Twitter.
yeah, right. No, but what's your advice?
I tweet some of the best news. I think what I'm following is what people should be following. I don't do politics either. It's not one of my fortes. Because I've shown the charade over and over again, I don't believe in any of it. I guess I'm one of those people as well. That's just so I honestly don't have an answer for that because I kind of stopped digging into the news. It all got so weird, and it definitely follows what the Illuminati, the original Illuminati of Bavaria, were after. This idea of fake news and liberals and all of this was, some of the original tenets of the Illuminati back in 1700s,
what's really funny for me today, this is how I read the news. I literally click on a website and I'm looking for a headline like plane crashes in Africa. That's the news I'm looking for. And if that headline isn't there, something like that, earthquake, Wall Street crashes, whatever. If I don't have that headline, I don't even look at the page. I don't want to hear it. It doesn't matter what the website is. I don't want to read the politics. I don't want to read the right. I don't want to read the left. I don't want to read the middle.
Yeah.
I don't want to read the lies. I don't want to get emotionally involved. I just don't care. If South Korea is being invaded by North Korea and that's in the headlines, okay, I'm there for that.
Ballistic missiles in Hawaii.
You know what? We're going to take a break right here, but we actually need to spend some time on that. Can I get you to do a little bit of overtime? I can't believe we blew through tonight and we didn't get to cloning and transhumanism either. Oh, man. But we do have to talk about what is going on over there and that recent how do you think that mistake actually happened?
They are showing a picture where you could have gotten the password that was Post-it note right there onto the computer in a public forum. So the password for the emergency broadcast system was easily visible to anyone. But that doesn't fit either. None of this makes any sense because there were other alerts. There were things that weren't connected to the emergency management system that were also alerts. And I haven't dug deep enough to have an answer, but it definitely doesn't seem like it was just a missed button fire.
No, I did see, and before I go all conspiracy on this, before I go full, I'm trying to think of what's the movie? Never go full
retard.
Yeah, never go. Well, I'm about to go full conspiracy on this, and I don't want to, but I did see a couple of video clips of a basketball game in Hawaii that was playing on a TV there, and the banners going across the top that said, U.S. Pacific Command has detected a missile launch. Right? Where are they getting that information from? It's right. It's not some civil defense alert. There's an incoming missile, which could have been, probably a drop-down menu. You have pre-selected things that you're going to select. Tsunami on its way, surf's up, whatever but this one was that. But the U.S. Pacific Command has detected a missile launch. That, to me, says that there is somebody that was informed this from outside of Hawaii, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, let's take a break right here. I'm going to get you to do a few minutes of overtime. Our guest tonight, Freeman. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. And Freeman, when we come back also, we got to talk about your website, Freeman TV. I did notice that it is fresh and new, and it's well put together. We'll talk about that, too, as well. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. More with Freeman after this short break. Stay with us.
are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of. Ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to jimmychurchradio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
This is KJCR at jimmychurchradio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Freeman. FreemanTV.com. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. You got to go check out Aliens from Hell. Now, Freeman, there is. I do want to talk about. You know what? Let's finish up our thoughts on Hawaii. What do you think? What do you think actually went down? Obviously, you don't think it was an accident.
No, I really don't. I'm still trying to gather the ramifications of what that would be. I of course have another story to share on that topic, but I don't know if you want it.
Well, okay. This is partially my take, not only on Hawaii, North Korea, and what is going on basically with this country and the world itself. It's not just here in the United States. That everything has gotten very, very sensitive. There are trigger words now for any demographic anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter now. It's amazing how quick somebody can be angry. I could sit here and say something, chocolate pudding. What do you mean about chocolate pudding? You know, and it's just like, dude, I just said chocolate pudding. Man, what are you really trying to say? And it's just like everybody is ready to go. It's like immediate go time everywhere in any country. And now with what went down in Hawaii, obviously, it may have been just an innocent human error, right? It may have been a mistake, but that doesn't matter. The trigger is out there. We are, as a society now, are ready for go time. It has been divide and conquer, and everything is segmented, and it doesn't matter if it's race or politics or sex. Sex is jobs, money, equality, sports, and the NFL, and it's everything now has been segmented, and everybody has chosen to take sides, and there are now trigger words in play to infuriate mass parts of society.
Yes. I watched as the educational system started to promote the idea that you need to have an answer to whatever, even if you don't know the answer. And this is something that was implemented after I left the university. I see it all over the place where people just have trigger answers to everything that is going on, and there's no research needed. You just are supposed to give whatever opinion and then go with it.
Is it Facebook's fault?
Yeah. I would put this in social media's faults, yeah, for sure.
And Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, without a doubt. That without the human bond, without the connection there, I mean, people are saying hurtful things to me every single day. It's hard being the theorist, you know. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of crap about tonight, you know, saying good things, positive things about Freemasonry. Oh, you're a shill, you know.
Yeah. You can't escape it. Like I said, it doesn't matter what side of the fence that you choose to go on. Everybody is ready for go time.
Let me give a quick example. I just tweeted, when were the first mummies cloned? And of course, no one thought to go do a web search and find when they cloned the first mummies, which was 1984, and find the science for themselves. They all just started going off of like my whole Obama clone thing and saying, oh, well, it must have been his birth date or it must be Obama. And I'm like, why don't you guys have the entire world knowledge at your fingertips and you're guessing? All you got to do is search. Just do a quick search. When were the first mummies cloned? And you'll find the Nature magazine, the New York Times article. You'll find that this is real. You know, I want you to prove it for yourself because you're obviously not going to listen to me. But not one single person even thought it was real enough to do a web search for.
And again, I always go back to why. You know, has this always been inside of us? Was this just waiting to surface? It was going to surface anyway, whether it was Facebook and Twitter to do the triggering on this. You know, is it just part of our DNA?
Oh, man, augmented reality is going to be. No, narcissism has been bred into the culture, without a doubt. It has been engineered over and over. It didn't exist when I was at school like it does now. And I witnessed this narcissism being built into the system and into people through the media, through all of this. Glenn Beck or, any of the narcissists. Old Barack Obama was classified as a narcissist. So now narcissism's like the top. So that's I believe it's engineered.
And I think that culture, I'm going to make this really quick because I want your answer, was always about private lives, privacy, what goes on in your home stays in your home, and families had secrets. Today, everybody wants to just live stream those family moments, those private things. It's all about themselves and exposing themselves, in a narcissistic way through social media, where that was the exact opposite of how families were supposed to be run in this country. Now it's the exact opposite. The norm is to publish all of your life's moments 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
The what was that movie? Running Man, right? And Running Man was a comedy. Running Man was a look at the future that we thought was tongue in cheek, that it would never happen. But today we're living Running Man, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Just as 1985, the lives that we're living today were not supposed to happen, but it's normal.
It is. It's, and they project that on you. Many people think I talk just to hear myself talk because I have a big ego or something of that. They consider me a narcissist because I go on the air every day or every week, and I'm like, no, this is work. I'm out here trying to educate. I think of myself as a professor. I certainly don't get much pleasure out of putting myself in the hot seat. It's not something I crave. I'm really kind of a shy person. So, it gets projected out onto people that aren't narcissists. And but if they, you must have a big ego because I have a big ego. I don't know.
Well, augmented reality that you're talking about, Facebook on its surface looks like a harmless way to connect with friends and family. But it is an augmented reality. It reacts to you. There are bots. There are sock puppets. There's a lot of automation to it. And certainly you're affected by the ads. And there is a definite psychological aspect to Facebook that is leaning towards it is an augmented reality. It's a world that people can't escape from. Right?
I remember when I would go into AOL chat rooms, I could clear a chat room in 10 minutes or less.
I used to do that all the time.
Just by talking real.
Right.
Like all of a sudden I'm all alone in this chat room. Like, what happened? Don't get into anything real,
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I used to clear chat.
Those rooms quick.
Man, it would go 30, 25, 11, 2.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that. I miss those chat room days. Do you have any predictions? What do you think? What do you think is going to go down in 2018?
Well, it is the year of augmented reality. It's the year of robotic sex. It's it's as the transhumanism comes to the forefront. Eternal life, all of that. People are going to start thinking about these type of things. I'm not ready to lay down any predictions because I tend to base my reputation on these things. So I don't want, only if I know something would I actually state something. Well, so I don't really have anything.
What did you think about those robot strippers in Las Vegas?
Yeah. And now they got people hacking robot sex dolls and killing people, or being able to hack them for murder.
What?
Yeah, Google that, man. Like robot sex bots hacked for murder.
Now,
yeah.
And the other aspect of all of this is having a smart home. Is your home smart?
God, no, I won't let them in, man. I don't want anybody knowing when I'm coming, going, leaving, and all of that. They keep calling me, and I'm like, no, stay out of my life.
My daughter, and I love her to death, she comes in with a Christmas gift, and she's got an Amazon Echo. It's like,
yeah.
Don't you listen to the show?
Right.
Don't you know? And I love her so much, and I love the gift, and she's absolutely right. It is a total for, you would think, somebody that is in my world with all of this gear and technology and the things that I have around me, that an Amazon Echo is exactly where I'm going, right? And I get that, and I love her to death for it. That thing was Satan in a box. And I felt bad for her to see my reaction.
Yeah.
And I had to sit her down. I had to give her, she goes, yeah, but you can ask for different songs. And and I get that. I totally understand a millennial's view on what is cool about the Amazon Echo. But I had to sit her down and tell her a few things. What about the smart toothbrush? Do you have a smart toothbrush yet?
No, I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Oh, yeah, of course there is. Of course there is. So, but are you going to stay off the smart grid?
I still have my very first cell phone. I don't progress too much in that. I still have a 2012 or older Mac. I mean, it hasn't been updated in 10 years. So I don't really move in that direction at all. The closest I'm getting is a little drone for my phone that will follow me around with facial recognition so that when events happen, I can toss it up in the air and it will film everything for me.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It's called Self-Fly. And I kickstarted it, and I'm expecting it in the mail in the next few weeks even. I'm pretty excited about that.
Now, before I let you go, there's one other thing that happened. You just brought up Macs, and a couple of weeks ago it was announced that virtually every chip on planet Earth has got a fault that can be hacked, right? And and how that happens, especially with the multi-core processors, where it's it's saving data off to the side while it's figuring out the calculations that are needed for what is about to be processed. This all happens very quickly. But that data on the outside of the chip that is there in memory can be accessed. And it's that every chip, and then Apple comes out and said, because Apple was the safest, operating system, right? Apple comes out and says every chip in every Apple product has this defect in it. Now, is that a scary thought of Armageddon, right? Where every chip on planet Earth gets whacked, overnight.
I have been paranoid about what I say out loud since Echelon.
Yes. Yes.
My friends used to call me and go, bomb, 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 terrorist, terrorist, terrorist. Just make sure that Echelon was activated when, and this was in the 90s. So I have lived my life under this paranoia for, 20 years of feeling as if every moment I'm being listened to since the creation of Echelon. And so, I've kind of ingrained it into my system now that I'm already somewhat guarded in the things that I do and say, even in my own home.
What's next? Really quick before we get to that, how can everybody access Freeman TV, and what can they expect to see when they go there?
Well, there have been little secret helpers that have kept me going all along the way. I remember when I started the television show, somebody said to me, do you want to do an online radio broadcast? I didn't know the word podcast at that time. And they put it up. And another friend was secretly putting all my television shows on Google Video. I didn't even know I was going on to Google Video. So each time these little technological advancements have come along, somebody's come along and said, hey, Freeman, let me help and give you a podcast, give you a server, give you put you on these videos. Because I couldn't have done any of this. I didn't have the technological know-how. Mm-hmm. But FreemanTV.com has been something I've been working on for a long, long time. But I had my good friend Alonzo Pichardo, and you can find him linked on every post of FreemanTV.com, was the redesigner of FreemanTV.com and the true genius behind why it looks and works so amazingly right now. So I have to give Alonzo Pichardo full props for organizing and designing. He is an amazing web designer, and he wants your business. So I have to give him props on this show and say Alonzo Pichardo is the man if you want to get your website looking as good as freemantv.com. You go there, you're going to find 13 years of data. You're going to find all my television shows, all my lectures, I interviewed the Twin Tower architect that told me that bin Laden's asked him where to put the demolition charges. You'll find that there. You'll find all my articles. You'll find all my DVDs and everything that I've done. I mean, it's my magnum opus, and I love FreemanTV.com. I'm very impressed by my own website, but a lot of blood, sweat, and tears has gone into that. You'll find all my artwork, photography, everything I could possibly do. I love FreemanTV.com.
Yeah, the old website, I used to go there and I thought, man, there is so much work here. And you put a lot of sweat into the old one. The new one, it has got all of that, but it is, it's like 22nd century.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really.
And that's all Alonzo, man. I couldn't have done any of that. He's the man. So if you want a website like Freeman TV, I got to just give Alonzo Pichardo all those props, man, because.
Okay, say his name one more time.
Alonzo Pichardo.
Okay. Where are you speaking next? What's going on?
I've been a hermit, and I don't get invited to conferences, Jimmy. It seems that the people in our business, and my peers, my co's, I know them all. I know everyone on the stage, but I'm just not thought of. And so for some reason, I'm never invited. I have to sneak my way into conferences and put myself on stage. I'm like, hey, I got this presentation. I've done this so many times. I don't get paid. I've never been paid to give a speech. I just do it. And so, if anybody wants to invite me to give a speech, give a lecture, I'm happy to do it. But I put a lot of work into my stuff. You will never see another PowerPoint like Aliens from Hell. I know I'm a quirky artist, so I title things and I put Cthulhu in my artwork and all that. And it's, some people get scared off by the book's cover, but once you get into the knowledge, you're like, whoa, this guy knows what he's talking about. But not only will you see the most incredible PowerPoint presentation you've ever seen in your life, and I know this because I work so hard on that, every single second of it's animated. There's not one still shot involved. All of it includes never before seen footage inside of these Mason temples, inside of other esoteric orders, never before seen stuff. And it's right there. And so, that's the type of love and art that I put into every single thing I do. So I need a good 3 months to prepare to do a lecture. But I would gladly give Aliens from Hell again because it's so epic.
Well, we'll talk off of the air about that, but I think that's a really good idea. I really do. Well, your Free Your Mind conference, I watched at least one of those, and my take on it was you were happy to be there, right? You were happy, and you just let the information flow. And that's the way that it hit me, a lot like this show. And I've often felt that, Freeman, about you, maybe I should have said this at the beginning of the show, but I'll say it now, that I think there's a misconception about you, that you're satanic, you're demonic, that there's this negative thing about you that you are out there preaching and projecting. I don't know where that comes from. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's simply not you. You're just somebody that's out there that has done the research, that has been across this country, and you've got something to say, and you've seen things, and you want to share that knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. It's somebody else's ego that's saying any of the other things, because I'm well known for the friendship agenda, and I've met everybody that listens to my show. You know what I mean? I've met 100,000 people. So people that know me know, that's for sure. It's just anyone that doesn't, I guess they have their own opinion.
Yeah, there you go.
But, whenever you go opposed to whatever they're saying, like if like we were talking today and I'm saying the Illuminati doesn't exist, I'm going to receive so much hate for that because they want this to exist. They want this specter. They want the, linguistic hypnosis to keep them going. And they prefer to believe in the wildest things instead of boring science, Masonic logos.
Well, but see, the thing about that, and the reason for that, is that so many of us, myself included, know that there are puppet masters. Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. If we're going to talk about the Council on Foreign Relations, we're going to talk about the Royal Institute of International Affairs, talk about the Bilderbergs, then we're talking. Mm-hmm. But you're throwing this other, then we're, get to the science, folks.
Well, and so I don't think that, I don't think that the Illuminati title on this, the puppet masters out there, is matters to anybody. To them, you can call them French fries, but just as long as those are the puppet masters, and in which case it's an easy reference for most to say that it's the Illuminati, which is all encompassing of the Council of Foreign Relations or the Fed, right? It doesn't matter. The Bilderbergs, the Rothschilds, and the heads of these banks. That's to them, that's under the Illuminati umbrella, if you will.
Yeah, but it's a complete misnomer, and you go looking for the Illuminati, and you're going to be disproven and debunked.
Right. Well, when I was a kid, I've got a roll. We've got 2 minutes left in the show, but when I was a kid, in the mid 70s, early 74, overnight talk radio, man. I'm in my bed. 2 o'clock in the morning, and some guy doing some conspiracy show says, the Illuminati goes back to caveman days, and the tribes that dominated the other tribes went through society, and those are the tribes that are running today, and they're called the Illuminati. Now think about that for a second. I never forgot that. Now, that was that guy's take, but it changed my life. Although,
let me throw in, I've got a 1967 Myron Fagan on vinyl, the original podcaster. 1967, this thing's as old as I am.
Right.
I have the 3-set vinyl set titled Illuminati, but it is, of course, all about the Council on Foreign Relations.
Yeah, see, there you go. Thank you so much, my friend, and I can't wait to see you out west. We've got to get you out here, and we'll talk about that.
Awesome.
You're the best.
Thank you so much, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you, Freeman. Freeman TV. Very simple. FreemanTV.com. The links are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Also, you can follow Freeman on Twitter at Freeman TV. It's right there. Now, tomorrow night on the show, we've got 2 guests that are going to be here. We're going to have L.A. Marzulli up first for the first hour. On February 2nd, there is an announcement and press conference that is going on here in Los Angeles about the results of the elongated skulls and the DNA testing that has gone on. What skulls were tested, where they came from, and all of that. We're going to find that out tomorrow night. And I'll try to get some of those DNA test results. The press conference is February 2nd. L.A. knows, if he's on this show, that I am definitely going to try to get all of the information out of him that I can. And then after that, tomorrow night, in hour 2, Rick Shaw is going to be here. He's the director of the Watchers series. And we are going to talk about the near-death experience. And he's got a segment in the new Watchers, Best of Watchers DVD that is out that is about his latest research as a director into the near-death experience. And we're going to do all of that tomorrow night. With that, I want to thank Freeman for coming in tonight and also spending a full segment of overtime with all of you Fadernauts right here on Fade to Black. With that concludes another episode of Fade to Black. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Thank you to Freeman. FreemanTV.com. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until tomorrow night, I want everybody to be safe. Go back, Lee Tappy.